A few weeks ago, I recorded a video about shadow work benefits or the types of experiences that some people have had from working with me or from working through shadow work. So, since then, there has been more and more feedback, and it helps me. I like to kind of, because I have a very bad memory. If I don't kind of document a lot of things, I just do forget them, completely forget them. So I thought I'd record a second video. So for anyone who's already doing this work, this can help as an encouragement, or anyone curious, it'll give you a bit of an insight of the potentials, I suppose. So initially, this was a few weeks ago. A woman who I've worked quite closely with. She's based in Dublin. Most people I work with can be all the way around the world. There's a few people at the moment actually from Queensland, and it's kind of strange. They don't know each other. All found me differently, but I am a queen maker. That was a term given to me in a medicine ceremony, and these women are from Queensland. So, anyway, so this woman, by chance now, is in Dublin. The story I'm going to tell you. And her grandmother had been dying for a few weeks, and the family had been called out to the nursing home, and she wouldn't die. She would come back to life. She just she wasn't going anywhere. But we knew that there was work between her and her dying grandmother. There was an energetic tie. There was something going on there. And this one was struggling anyway. There was a number of things that her back was kind of against the wall, and she was struggling to be present with it. We were just sat in the car at the beach, and we probably worked for about 2 hours, and it just entailed me guiding her into her emotions, into her body, into her gut, to be present with and observe whatever is coming up. And during this time, she encountered pretty much, a mix of rage, grief, as she described, very strong energy, almost overwhelming energy, and then ultimately tears. The release of tears and sobbing. Now, part of her kind of struggle was that, her friends, she was kind of growing away from her friend group, and there was a difficult dynamic then between them all of like what was going to happen. She didn't really know how to handle the situation. She was also 3 days late for her period, which was highly unusual. And obviously her grandmother was dying, which that was kind of hanging over, going to the nursing home and seeing her grandmother dying and not knowing is it going to happen today or so there was, and of course there was other things going on as well. So we worked for about 2 hours, and there was this release, of letting go and of sadness or of sobbing, of just a release. I dropped her home, and I think, if I'm correct, after I dropped her home, she got her period. So emotionally, we hold so much in the body. We're restricting literally the flow of energy or the flow of whatever through our body. So I dropped her home. She got her period. The next morning, her granny died, and also she got she received a text from one of these friends in this group that was challenging, and the air just was cleared. It was just an amicable text. They text back and forth, bang. The relationship shifted and changed, but it didn't have to end, and it has since the tension has since been released. Like the relationship has just evolved into something else, rather than being the black and white of friends, not friends. So that's one experience. Another experience, which I do relate to, is a woman who had a haircut, and the haircut, basically she wasn't happy with the haircut. But I can relate to this, that myself, being younger at times, I was so insecure. I was so insecure that if those kind of things, if I bought the wrong clothes or something, I'd just feel ashamed, or I'd feel embarrassed, or I wouldn't, I'd kind of struggle. And the haircut cast her into this deep pain, humiliation, a degree of being invested in our identity and what people think of us. So she sat with it and struggled on, and it was challenging, I know, for her, and she cleared this, whatever, this shame or embarrassment or humiliation or whatever it was, cleared this energy. And unexpectedly, same as the previous one, she received two texts, one from her present partner and one from her previous partner, just thanking her for her energy and for who she is. And this was not a regular occurrence. This was pretty rare. So again, it's another, because we think that we need to go out there to make people do things. We need to tell them how we feel and what is happening. And sometimes that's the case. But if we clear the emotion first, we'll be guided to, or the dynamic, there's multiple timelines. Everything is happening at the same time. We choose which timeline we go to. So we can go to the timeline of chaos and madness and argument, or we can go to the timeline that everything works out harmoniously. I've one more story, and this is a woman who I started working with recently, and it's a very simple story, and to some it might not mean, but it really grabbed me. At night, she felt kind of uncomfortable, if I remember correctly, and she felt like she wanted to go for a run or, be active. And this is a common thing, that people need to burn out that energy rather than sit with it and see what emotionally is going on. They want to be busy. So she felt moved to go down to the beach, and it was dark. And then she felt she needed to. So here's another message. This is another story that happened, I think, only about a week ago. And it was at night, and this woman just felt that she needed to go down to the beach. She was alone. It was dark. She felt a bit, unsure, a bit risky, but she just felt that that's what she had to do. So she walked down to the beach, and in the darkness. And then while down there, she felt that she had to walk. She was kind of being guided to walk in further along into the darkness. Again, it was a bit of anxiety or a bit unsure of this, but she followed the guidance and she did it. And then she saw one chair. She saw a shape and she thought it was a person, and thought, like, obviously you don't want to run into someone on a dark beach at night. You don't know who you're going to run into. And it was a chair. So there's one chair on a beach in the dark. Ooh, I wonder who it's for. Who could be guided to go to a beach in the dark? So she sits on the chair. And in that, she just knew, obviously, that she was meant to be there, and received various kind of downloads or awareness of I don't know what. Often downloads, they're not necessarily things that we remember. It's just like we're upgraded. They're in our DNA. They're in our blueprint, and we need them. They're there when we need them. When we're communicating, they just trigger. They activate. They flow through us. So the downloads are irrelevant. My point is, she was guided to walk into the darkness, into the shadow. And she volunteered. She chose to do it. She chose to do it step by step, rather than going for a run or doing yoga or being active and working out that uneasiness. She decided to venture into it and see, well, where will it take me? So there was the different stages of leaving the house, of walking down the beach, of walking further into the darkness, of going towards this shadow that turns out to be a chair, of sitting down. So to me, that seems quite big, and it shows to me a tenacious spirit to continue to go into the darkness, to see what's in there and explore it. This is a testimonial that I didn't ask for, that I think I asked her one day how she was doing, and this is what I got back. Definitely been one of the best investments I've ever made. I'm doing good. Just clearing and being there for myself. Feeling a new version of myself expanding. Look forward to talking to you. That's one example. This is from another woman who finished the course a few weeks ago now. And I just checked in, asked her how she was. Wow, hi, good to hear from you. Major positive shifts have happened since doing the course. My anxiety and not feeling good enough have gone. Got a new job, care for elderly, love it. Never looked at care before, but I went with the flow. Financially, things have improved. I have an inner sense of stillness I tap into when situations come up. I love myself and feel so proud of what I've overcome and achieved. A little tired working nights, but feel I'm making a difference, which is what I ask for in my meditations. So things have changed. It's the best thing I ever did. So thank you. These are just, I don't go looking for this kind of feedback, but I'm obviously grateful when people do send these messages. On that the last message, what is important. So I don't kind of want these to be kind of me blowing my own trumpet. But it's the point of the last message, what stood out was, but I went with the flow. And that's where we're aiming to be. We're aiming to be in the flow, in the moment, instinctively, intuitively guided. We just know. Less planning, less analysis, less thinking, less step by step. This is what I'm going to do, and then I'm going to do this, and that's going to happen. Just do what we're moved to do. We feel guided to walk out down the beach in the dark. We just go. And it turns out it's purposeful. We feel moved to change jobs, and it turns out it's purposeful. So to finish up, a bit of feedback myself of doing this work, that I quit a job only a couple of weeks ago that basically kept me alive, during the last 3 years of living in my car and of really being close to fucking destitute. And a guy that I've worked with for on and off for about 12 years. So I just felt I didn't think, there's the key. I didn't think I was complete with that work yet. But I felt I was. Do you notice the difference? So in my mind, I had a plan that, I'll keep coming because I'll keep going to work because it'll keep bringing in the money. But my instinct, my guidance was, no, this is the end of the road. And it happened very quickly. Over a matter of days, bang, and that was it, game over, I'm done. I can't do this anymore. And naturally, my fear was, how do I stay alive now? How do I don't make enough money from clients from this energy work to pay my bills. Generally, I have a few different things that kind of bring money in for me, and they all work together. But maybe a couple of days before I quit this job, I just felt moved to change the course from 6 weeks to 8 weeks and to put up the price. And that was me putting value on my work and my experience that I've paid in blood pretty much to learn what I teach and how I live now. It was a high price to pay to gain this experience. So it was about me realizing my own self-worth, another level of my own self-worth and value, and the value that I have to offer to people. So I upped the price, and obviously in my mind, when I up the price, I think that people won't want to pay a higher price. But not long after upping the price, I think I got 2 new clients. 10 minutes after quitting the job, I got another client. And then the work has been profound with these women in the last couple of weeks. It has unfolded to a deeper degree, I suppose, or depth of awareness that, as I said to someone last week, I feel like we've all been upgraded. A year ago or so, when I was teaching shadow work, there was a lot of time spent on self-observation, trying to ground people in these feelings, being present. Now that's an ongoing practice anyway. But now the way it seems to be working is that people grab this much, much faster, and we can move on to different details, higher details of self-awareness and self-acceptance, and integrating them as well. So there's more in the 8 weeks. There's more space as well to breathe or flow during those 8 weeks. So that's been my own experience. And that work situation was my tipping point. That was a big one for me, because obviously we all need an income. We're all trying to survive, so we can be a bit restricted in those situations. In a lot of other areas, I'm a bit more free-flowing, medicine work or energy work. So that's been my experience as well. And I'll put a link below for the first video on shadow work benefits. I hope this was of use. Any questions, please feel free to get in contact. Anyone curious about the work, we can always have a conversation on the phone, see how you feel. You don't have to commit to anything. Follow your instinct, follow your gut. There's no wrong move. Anyway, thanks for listening. Put some links for things below, and be well.